You came home today, hugged your dog, maybe gave him a treat, and you genuinely believe you're a great dog owner. But what if the one thing your dog fears most is something you did just this morning? Not out of cruelty, not out of neglect, just out of love. The wrong kind of love. Stay with me, because by the time we get to number 4, most dog owners go completely silent. Welcome to Canine Mind. If you care about your dog's emotional world, hit subscribe right now, because this is exactly what this channel is about. Dogs aren't just animals that eat, sleep, and fetch. Science has confirmed what many of us suspected. Dogs have an emotional intelligence roughly equivalent to a 2-year-old human child. They feel joy, frustration, insecurity, and yes, genuine heartbreak. The problem is that most of the things hurting them aren't the obvious ones. They're the small, daily, well-intentioned habits that slowly chip away at your dog's trust, confidence, and happiness. Let's get into it. Number 1, and this one hits hard. You take their food away to test them. Think about what happens in your dog's brain the moment you reach toward their bowl mid-meal. It's not just mild annoyance, it's a primal alarm. Dogs are descendants of animals that competed for every meal. Their nervous system is literally wired to treat food as a survival resource, not just a pleasure. When you repeatedly remove their food, even playfully, even with good intentions, you're not teaching them obedience. You're triggering an ancient fear response that says, "This resource is not safe. I must protect it." This is the origin story of food aggression. It doesn't start with a bite. It starts with tension. A dog that stiffens when you walk near their bowl. A dog that eats faster and faster to finish before you steal it again. Behaviorists consistently report that food guarding is one of the most common problems they see and one of the most preventable. The irony is that the owners who create this problem are almost always the ones who were trying to teach their dog not to have it. What actually works? Build positive associations with your presence near their bowl. Drop an even better treat in while they're eating. Teach the leave it command through reward-based training, not through anxiety. Your dog should feel that your hands near their food mean good things are coming, not something is about to be taken. Keep watching, because the next one on this list is something almost every dog owner does within the first 5 minutes of getting home. Number 2, you greet your dog with too much excited energy. Here's the scene. You walk through the door. Your dog goes watch their energy. You squeal. You jump around. You let them leap all over you. It feels like pure joy, and it partially is. But what happens in the minutes after that greeting? Many dogs can't come down. They pace. They whine. They nudge you repeatedly. They can't settle. That's not happiness. That's a nervous system that was spiked and doesn't know how to return to baseline. Dogs don't actually need us to mirror their excitement. They need us to be the calm, stable presence they can orient around. When we amplify their arousal at the door, we're essentially confirming that the world is a high-stakes, high-intensity place. Over time, dogs who experience this consistently become dogs that struggle with anxiety, hyperactivity, and separation distress, because every departure and return becomes an emotional event. Canine psychologists describe this as inadvertent reinforcement of anxious arousal. You're not doing it to hurt them, but the dog's brain registers the pattern. Owner leaves. Owner returns. Emotional explosion. Owner leaves again. The anticipation of that cycle is exhausting for the dog. Try this instead. Come home. Stay calm. Let your dog settle for 60 to 90 seconds before you acknowledge them. Then greet them warmly, but gently. You'll notice within a few days that your dog becomes calmer overall. Not less happy, but more stable. And a stable dog is a happy dog. Number 3, you use the crate as punishment. The crate is one of the most powerful tools in dog ownership when used correctly. Dogs are den animals by evolutionary design. Their ancestors sought out small, enclosed spaces, not as confinement, but as security. A properly introduced crate should feel like a dog's bedroom, their private sanctuary where nothing bad happens and rest is guaranteed. But here's where it goes wrong. A dog makes a mess, chews something, jumps on a guest, and you point to the crate and say, "Get in there." With frustration in your voice, you've just done something psychologically significant. You've taken the one space that should be neutral and safe and attached it to the feeling of rejection and punishment. Dogs form associative memories powerfully. Once the crate becomes a place associated with your disapproval, it loses its function entirely. Worse, it becomes a source of stress. Dogs that were once calm in their crates become dogs that whine, scratch, and panic the moment the door closes. Never send your dog to the crate as a consequence. If they need time away from a situation, redirect them calmly and without emotion. Build the crate back into their life through positive association. Treats thrown inside, meals eaten at the entrance, favorite toys placed in there. The crate should be somewhere your dog chooses to go. And when it is, you have an incredibly powerful tool for travel, recovery, and their own sense of peace. Stay with us. We're about to get to something that most dog owners laugh off, but that research shows genuinely damages the trust between you and your dog. Number 4, you laugh at your dog when they're scared. A thunderstorm rolls in. Your dog is trembling behind the toilet or pressed flat against the floor or panting in the middle of the night, and you smile, maybe even chuckle, maybe even pull out your phone to film it. You're not a bad person, but in that moment, your dog is experiencing something neurologically real. Elevated cortisol, a racing heart, the full biological experience of fear. And the one creature they trust completely is laughing. Dogs are exquisitely sensitive to human emotional responses. They watch our faces. They read our body language. They register our tone of voice with an accuracy that still astonishes researchers. When your response to their fear is amusement, they don't understand the joke. They understand that you saw their distress and didn't respond to it. That registers over time as you are not my protector. This matters enormously because the foundation of a dog's confidence is their trust in their human. Dogs that feel their owner is a reliable source of safety in frightening situations are dogs that recover faster from fear and develop fewer long-term anxiety disorders. Dogs that learn their owner is unavailable or dismissive in those moments develop what behaviorists call floating anxiety, a general state of unease that has no single trigger because the world just feels fundamentally unsafe. When snorts, your dog is scared, your job is simple but important. Stay calm, not artificially cheerful, not dismissive, but genuinely steady. Speak in a low, even voice. Don't overwhelm them with forced affection, but be present. Let them come to you. That simple consistency repeated over time builds a dog that can face frightening things because they know you're there. Number 5, you pet them on top of the head. This one surprises people every time. You love your dog. You want to show it, so you reach out and pat them on the head. And your dog either tolerates it, turns away, or gives a small whale eye without you even noticing. Most of us interpret a dog that tolerates being touched as a dog that enjoys it. Behaviorists call this learned tolerance, and it's very different from enjoyment. Here's the biology. Reaching over a dog's head and pressing down activates the same postural response that a dominant animal triggers. Dogs can't fully see what's coming from above and slightly behind. Even a dog with no aggression history and total love for their owner will have some degree of involuntary tension response to that gesture. It's not about trust. It's about neurological wiring that goes back millions of years. Watch closely next time. Does your dog lean into your hand, turn toward you, soften their eyes? That's enjoyment. Does your dog lower their head slightly, shift their weight away, blink repeatedly, or go still? That's tolerance. And there's a big difference. Dogs consistently prefer being touched on the chest, along the shoulders, and at the base of the tail. Long, slow strokes along the side of the body release oxytocin, the bonding hormone in both the dog and the human. You can show your dog far more affection by changing where you touch them than by touching them more. We're halfway through, and the next point is one that's almost invisible, but creates some of the deepest emotional damage of all. Number 6, you're inconsistent with your rules. On Monday, you let the dog on the sofa. On Tuesday, you push them off. On Wednesday, you let them back up because they looked cute. On Thursday, you shout because they jumped up on a guest. From the outside, this looks like a normal household. From inside your dog's brain, it is chaos. Dogs don't moralize. They don't think, I shouldn't be on the sofa because it's your space. They think in patterns. This action produces this outcome. When the outcome for the same action changes randomly, depending on your mood, your outfit, who's visiting, or how tired you are, your dog cannot build a reliable mental model of the world. And an animal that can't predict its environment is an anxious animal. What looks like stubbornness or disobedience in dogs is very frequently anxiety expressed behaviorally. The dog that ignores commands, the dog that seems to forget training, the dog that acts differently with different family members. These are often dogs that were never given a consistent enough environment to actually learn the rules in the first place. This doesn't require military-style discipline. It just requires agreement. Everyone in the household needs to respond to the same behaviors the same way. Sofa is allowed, or it isn't. Jumping for greetings is encouraged, or it isn't. Pick the rules. Hold the rules. Your dog will reward you with a calm, responsive, genuinely happy personality because they finally understand the world they live in. Number 7, you ignore them when they're trying to communicate. Your dog paws at your leg. You keep scrolling. They nudge your hand. You move it away. They sit and stare at you with an intensity that borders on telepathy. You don't look up. Here's what you need to understand. Every one of those gestures is a communication attempt. Dogs have a limited vocabulary, and they use all of it. Pawing, nudging, eye contact, small vocalizations, positioning themselves in doorways. These are not random behaviors. They are deliberate, specific, often urgent messages. When we consistently don't respond, dogs don't conclude, okay, I'll stop. They conclude, this channel doesn't work. And they either escalate into barking, destructive behavior, or hyperactivity, or they shut down. Shutdown is actually the more concerning outcome. A dog that stops trying to communicate with their owner has given up on that connection. This is what behaviorists sometimes call learned helplessness, and it looks deceptively like a calm, easy dog. They're not being easy. They've simply stopped believing their signals matter. You don't need to respond to every paw with an elaborate interaction, a brief eye contact, a single word, a moment of acknowledgement. This is all your dog needs to know. I see you. I hear you. You matter. That's what the relationship is built on. Don't go anywhere. What's coming next is the thing vets and trainers say they have to explain at almost every single consultation. Number 8, you shout when they misbehave. Your dog pulled the trash apart, or chewed your shoe, or had an accident inside, and your first response was volume. Understandable, human, and almost completely counterproductive. When you shout at a dog, one of two things happens. In some dogs, particularly those with bolder temperaments, it actually functions as attention, which means it reinforces the behavior. In other dogs, particularly more sensitive ones, it creates fear without information. The dog doesn't connect your current volume to the thing they did 12 minutes ago. They connect it to right now, to your face, to the space they're standing in. And now that face carries threat. Research into canine stress responses consistently shows that punishment-based training increases anxiety and impairs learning. A dog operating in a fear state is neurologically less capable of processing new information, not more. So shouting doesn't just fail to teach, it actively prevents teaching. Communication with dogs that works looks like this: calm, clear, consistent. A firm, low voice marks unwanted behavior. An immediate redirect gives them something else to do. Reward when they do it. That sequence, mark, redirect, reward, works with virtually every dog at virtually every developmental stage because it works with how the dog brain actually learns rather than against it. Number 9, you physically push them away. Your dog wants to be near you. They press against your legs. They climb toward your face. They drape themselves across you at the worst possible moment, and you push them away with your hands or your body. Here's the thing about physical rejection. Dogs don't experience it as a boundary, communication. They experience it as a social signal, specifically, the signal of being excluded from the pack. In dog social structure, physical contact is the currency of belonging. Pressing against another dog, sleeping in contact, moving together. These are how dogs say, "You are mine, and I am yours." When we physically push them away, even gently, even without anger, we are speaking in their language, and the word we're saying is not you. Over time, dogs that are repeatedly pushed away when seeking contact develop what researchers call insecure attachment. They become dogs that either seek physical contact obsessively because it's unpredictable, or dogs that stop seeking it altogether. Neither outcome is good. Neither reflects the relationship you actually want with your dog. Instead of physical rejection, use language and redirection. Off is a learnable cue. Place teaches them to go to their bed on request, and when you're available, make that contact genuinely warm and intentional. Chosen contact is far more connective than tolerated contact for both of you. Number 10, you ignore their need for social connection. Dogs are not solitary animals. They never have been. Every domestic dog on Earth is descended from animals that lived, hunted, slept, and survived in groups. Isolation is not neutral for a dog. It is, in biological terms, a form of suffering. This doesn't mean you need to be with your dog every moment, but it does mean that a dog left alone for 10 hours a day with no enrichment, no interaction, and no social outlet is a dog accumulating stress. The behavior problems that develop, destructive chewing, excessive barking, compulsive behaviors, aggression, are not character flaws. They are symptoms. They are what boredom, loneliness, and unmet social needs look like when they have nowhere else to go. The solution isn't complicated. It's just intentional. Daily walks that allow sniffing and exploration. Play sessions that match your dog's actual energy level. Training that exercises their mind, not just their body. Time with other dogs if your dog enjoys it. And the simple, irreplaceable thing of sitting with them, not on your phone. Not distracted, just present for even 15 minutes a day. Your dog has one life, and the center of that life is you. Not your house, not their food bowl, not their toys. You. Everything they feel about themselves and about the world runs through that relationship. When you show up for it consistently, calmly, with attention and understanding, you don't just improve their behavior, you give them a life that is genuinely good. That's 10 things. And here's the truth that ties all of them together. Your dog is not asking for perfection. They're asking for consistency, presence, and the willingness to understand them on their own terms. Every single thing on this list is fixable starting today, starting with the next interaction you have. If this video made you think differently about your dog, share it with someone who loves theirs. Subscribe to K9 Mind for more content built on real behavioral science, and leave a comment telling us which one of these surprised you most. We read every single